Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the home opener for the Red Raider Wrestling team. It's 15-16 season, and we're wrestling the Lumberjacks of Wausau East, and the introductions are going on. I'm Lewie Benitz, and Pete Peschel is going to help us out here, and we're going to listen to the introductions here.
At 120 pounds, Wisconsin record will forfeit to Wausau East freshman Alex Young. The matchup at 126 pounds, the freshman for the Lumberjacks, Nick Budleski. Your Red Raiders, a senior, Matrix Chisco. Wrestling at 132 pounds, the Bears sophomores from Wausau, Sam Myers. Your Red Raiders, Zach Mitchell. At 138 pounds, a freshman from Wausau East, Ryan Daniels. Your Red Raiders, a senior, Patrick Spree. At 145 pounds, another freshman from Wausau East, Noah Hess. Your Red Raiders, a junior, Max Benitz. And the final matchup at 152 pounds, the Bear sophomore from Wausau East, Florida, Miles. Your Red Raider, Cody Sawyer.
Well, folks, we're about ready to go here. The Wausau East Lumberjacks have been introduced, and Raiders have been introduced. And Pete Peschel is back up here with the weigh-in sheet. So we're going to start at 160 pounds. And Pete, you can tell us who the matchups are, would you please?
Well, from Rapids, we got Dylan Hall. He's a senior. And from Wausau East, it's Pierce Stefan, a ninth grader.
It's kind of a bit of a mismatch here tonight, I'm afraid. Wausau East hasn't been one of the powers in the valley, and even though we're probably not quite as strong as we at one time, where I think our seniors are pretty tough.
Seniors are pretty tough. I'd agree with that, right. Although Wausau East does have numbers this time, and they got a nice-looking squad over there.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of being built. That's what it is. It takes a while. In high school athletics, you can't pay a lot of money and get somebody to come in. It's whatever you build from the youth program and the middle school program. So Dylan Hall is one of our better seniors. We trying to get him past just living with that headlock a little bit. And I listened to the interview the other night. I know Scott and Dylan both, they want to move past that a little bit.
Right, he has a couple nice leg shots there tonight.
He does. You're absolutely right.
And they're pretty good shots too. If you just have some confidence in them, you'll maybe get those to work.
We didn't get in here soon enough to get the backboards pulled up so it's out of the way of the score clocks here. I thought that was your job here.
Well, you got to tell me my job before I get it.
Yeah, I know it. Nice cradle here by Dylan. He's got a 4-0 lead already, 4-1 I guess, but that was a pretty nice cradle.
Nice cradle. There it is again.
Yep, and that's a nice cradle. This one could be a keeper. I don't know if he gets that shoulder pulled through there. Get that knee up in the side.
30 seconds left.
And what's the score? Score's 9-1. And there's going to be a few forfeits tonight. I know they tried to match up the best they could. That's nobody's fault. You can't blame the coaches or the kids. God makes you a certain size, and that's what you kind of live with.
That's right.
We haven't talked to the folks here on TV since last week. We were up at DC Everest and wrestled really well, and they kind of mentioned at the time that Holman tournament was canceled, and it was.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah. And what they've done, I just talked to Scott. They found a tournament in January, I think the 16th or whatever it is. He's got his choice of 2 or 3, but he wants a team tournament. So when you have an individual tournament, you just use your starters. Team tournaments, you can use a few more people, and that's what he really wants.
Right, everybody gets 5 matches then, and not just the kids that advance.
Was that a standing switch there? It looked like I caught the end of it.
I don't know, but there's that cradle again. Looks
That'll-
pretty flat.
It'll make Dylan a lot better wrestler when he can do some of these things more, and he can too. Last week that headlock was there; you couldn't hardly pass it up.
Right.
Oh, this is tight.
Right.
And Dylan Hall gets a call for the Raiders, and just in time because he was up 14-1 here.
Right.
So that puts the Raiders up 6-0.
Brock.
Go ahead.
Okay, so next match is at 170, and for Rapids we have Brock Benitz, defending state champion, and we have Micah Hendrick from Wausau East.
And he's a freshman, I think.
I think he's a freshman too.
I'm not sure he wanted to be here. That's the fast fall.
That might be a new school record.
What
there,
was it,
6
though?
seconds.
You might be right. I think
Either
the old record, I don't have
Broke it or
program.
tied it for sure, but
Wow. It passed his uncle. I think Shane had one in 7 seconds.
I think
there.
you're right.
Wow. Yeah. Brock is a stud, any way you look at it. And,
Yes.
I don't know if he had much work out this week. I know he was sick. He was in school a couple days, but I don't think he got too tired out in that match.
No, I don't think so either. Okay, at 182, what the heck? I see Nathan Fuller is out there.
It is 182. Oh,
Right,
it's
but
screwed
what-
up there.
Right, so Nathan's down a weight. He's at 182, and I'm looking at the program. Jake Tim must be up at 195.
I think so. None of them are that big. It's just they're
Right.
trying to fill things out.
Right. So I'll get the best matchup.
So Nate Fuller's out here 182, and who is he wrestling here?
Corey Kumea, he's also a senior.
Yeah, Corey Cormea.
So this could be a good match, maybe. But
There's a nice. He's got a blast double that's really good.
he does.
It was a nice shot. I don't know if he got the 2 yet, did
Not
he?
yet, but I don't know what the ref is waiting for because
Yeah, he's sitting in there. There you got it.
he's still not giving it. A little slow on that.
The referee is Ted Kiefer from Point. He's reffed in the Valley quite a bit.
Yep.
And the assistant referee, and we're doing that. We're kind of experimenting here. The assistant referee is one of our old wrestlers, Paul Mortensen.
Yep.
And I think wrestling will go this route eventually. Now, the head ref still makes all the calls, but he can assist on the out of bounds and the near falls and so forth. And I
Sure.
think this is probably it's extra cost, but I think it's probably for the best. So, looking for good things from Nate here. He's obviously wrestling up a weight like most of these guys are, but he's really explosive. His downside, I think, maybe has been he hasn't finished matches sometimes in the past.
Right. He's gotten tired in the third period.
Yeah, there you go.
So we got 30 seconds left. We got a 2-1 lead. Pretty close match. I haven't seen that Wausau East kid do too much yet, but
No, but I think his defense is pretty good. I think he's
Yeah.
he's obviously not a freshman, so
right.
it's hard to score this. I'm going to read a few things out of the program here as we go along. We're actually ranked 3rd in the state, which that's exactly where we finished last year in the state tournament. And there are people that kind of wonder how come we're not like we used to be, but we were 3rd in the state last year, which is pretty good. And the 2 teams that are ranked ahead of us are Kaukauna and Stoughton, and I think they deserve to be there.
Probably, yeah.
But I think by the end of the year, when we get the people down to weight and get the kids off of code, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with here. We got some horses here. Anyway, we are 1-0 in the Valley, and Lumberjacks are 0-1 in the Valley.
So Nate had a nice fireman's right at the end there. They get a 4-1 lead. This is an area that he needs to work on too.
Yes, he does. Yeah. And I think that's so important, especially early in the season. Even though you're seniors, you still got to improve. And I know his goal is to place in the state tournament. And just to work on your good things probably isn't what's going to make you better. You got to work on your weaknesses.
That's right.
So it's a 4-2 score, and we've got 1:25 left here in the second period.
So he rode him for about 30 seconds. That was pretty good against another senior. That
Really, and I think he kind of cut him, didn't he?
he did at the end there. Yeah.
We had parents' night tonight, and that was kind of nice. We had a lot of parents here, and as the Mat Baggers, we do some neat things. We get flowers for the mothers. There was a nice takedown, a little snap down, go behind.
Right.
So that score now is 6-2. But we introduced the parents and the coaches and the managers, and we don't have the great numbers, but we really got some nice seniors there. It's going to be we're going to live with them this year.
That was nice. He broke him down nice there.
Yep.
Has him flat.
Yeah. And what you try and do, of course, is wear that guy down underneath. And I'm going to tell you, you've wrestled. It's like when you're down there in your belly, it takes a lot out of you to come back up. And that's what he's trying to do. And we always talk about we want to break our opponent. And that doesn't mean hurt him, but physically, mentally, you wear him down. And everybody in the world, especially athletes, have a breaking point. Somebody, sometime, has a breaking point. And the idea, of course, is to get in mentally, physically such good shape that you can last longer than the other guy that he breaks before. That was a nice takedown there.
Nice counter.
Yep.
Again, right at the end of the period, you got that takedown. Now, if we can just ride him out for 5.1 seconds, we can have a nice 5-point lead here. And I'm not sure Nate could have rode that guy last year for 5 seconds.
I can't hardly remember that match.
Well, I don't know if these two wrestled, but I mean, he couldn't ride anybody for 5 seconds.
Oh, last year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right, yeah.
So I think we're already seeing improvement there.
Strong stand-up.
Yep.
Break free, face your opponent, and that's the 1 point. He shoots hard. He's really explosive. On Saturday, we're going to travel to Bayport to the Battle of the Bay, and that's a tough tournament. Oh, he got in on that nice double again. Didn't get the takedown yet, though, huh?
No, I didn't get it yet.
Now he's pretty tough in here. That's a nice finish. And so Fuller goes up 11-3, 11-4 now.
4 now. About a minute left.
The tournament over in Bayport, it's called the Battle of the Bay, and it's in one of the better, tougher individual tournaments in the state. We're still going to be missing a few guys. I think we finished second last year there to Freedom.
Yeah.
But it's a tough tournament.
Another takedown would give us a major here. It'd be nice to get that.
We have 15 seconds left. He can do that. I wonder if he's looking
that.
at the clock. Look at the clock thing. Take him forward. Come on, take him down. Take him down. Take him down. What do we do? We got it.
It's 2. No. So it's 13-4. Need another 5-second ride out here.
That was a nice takedown. He worked for that at the edge of the mat.
He's got a nice little drag there.
He's skilled. You
He is
know,
skilled.
we've had a ton of fullers. Kurt was a heavyweight state champion. Justin was an upperweight. Mike was third, I think, in the state
Mike
tournament.
was
We've-
third. Justin was fifth, I think, his sophomore year.
We've had, it's quite a family.
Right.
This is the last of those two families, and I don't think he's going to get quite as big as the other. We got another Fuller who's a freshman, Roger Fuller, who's about 155 pounds, and hopefully he'll get a little bit bigger. But
Okay, yeah. 195 here now we have Jake Tim from Rapids, a senior, and he should be wrestling Brady Waleski.
it'd be good to see Jake get on track here a little bit. Now, again, I think Jake's probably weighing about 170 pounds, maybe.
Right.
And he got beat up there last week by a white kid from Everest who was pretty good.
Very good.
I don't think he wrestled a real good match. I
No.
don't think he was very happy with it. I know Scott wasn't real happy with the way he wrestled, but we're kind of going on how Jake finished the year last year.
Right.
He's had a pedestrian career. He's wrestled behind a lot of people. But last year, at the end of the year, he turned it up a little bit.
He really did. He really did. And that was moving up a weight, remember?
Yep.
He moved up a weight and did much better at a heavier weight. But I think his quickness, he's not real quick. Especially
No,
to
and
react.
he doesn't have a lot of power.
Right.
So it's not a real good combination, but he had like 2-3 takedowns here in that match, and he wrestled really good. So hats off to Jake Tim. It was a nice match for him.
Well, next match at 220, Jake Verwink, our senior, is going to get a forfeit. So, Wausau East
I call him
doesn't have
Jake too. It's Jack actually.
I'm sorry, it is Jack.
And,
I knew
his
that.
dad used to wrestle for us, Danny Verwink.
Danny Verwink.
You don't have your glasses, do you?
No, but it is.
Your
pretty
arms
big
are getting
riding.
kind of short.
Danny Verwink was the first freshman conference champion we ever had.
Is that right?
Yes.
You remember that?
I remember that, yes.
It's good to have him in the fold. It's too bad we hadn't had him for a couple of years because he's
Right.
he's going to be an asset to our team this year. And the Verwinks, we've always had Verwinks. They're just they're like the Thompsons, the Fullers. We've lived on families for a long time.
Yes. Okay, at 106, Cale Benitz, freshman, will be wrestling Josie Warshawski, a sophomore from Wausau East.
Well, this is part of the family tradition too of Rapids. It's Cale Benitz, who hurts for pounds a little bit. He's got a nice low single, but this girl can wrestle. Looks like.
Yep.
Oh, he got
Position.
stopped right there.
Yep.
Keep that hand, buddy. Yeah, she's a pretty good wrestler. You can
Yeah.
tell already.
Right.
Oh, you don't have power to do that.
There we go.
Boy, he hunts that half Nelson.
He sure does.
I didn't think he had enough power to do
I
that.
didn't either.
Watching his brother. Wow. That was pretty nice to see. And his brother reminded me he's not a vegetarian because he eats a little meat now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Come on, get back a little bit, Cale. Sink that half in there a little bit. I think this girl could wrestle. She countered him pretty
She
well,
did.
and
She knows.
but
she knows
he
some wrestling.
I'll tell you one thing. He goes for the fall. He's got a pump. You know, he really he's got great endurance. He's a runner like his ma, and he
Soccer
inherit-
player, isn't he? He likes to
Look at
play
that. He's
soccer.
got that chin. He's got that cranked up pretty tight.
Uh-oh. She got out there.
Yeah, she's pretty strong.
Yeah. It looks like he's trying to put a cradle on there and all. It doesn't quite
Not very good position for
No.
a cradle.
I think he's got it locked up, but look at that. He used his foot to clear that
Oh,
arm.
look at that. She stopped that.
Oh, but.
Now he's on the proper
On the
side.
right side, yeah.
She knows how to counter. We're down to 5 seconds here. So Cale Benitz, on the strength of a takedown and a near fall, goes ahead 5-0. But this is going to be a match hit, I think.
Yes. Oh.
This Josie looks like she can wrestle.
And she chose neutral. So she must think she's pretty, her best is probably on her feet.
Really, probably. When you're small and underpowered like that, you got to be careful not to get stretched out underneath. Come on, jam that head down, Cale. It's not a real good place to cradle from.
He didn't clear the leg real well, but...
Cale. He's not in real good shape here.
No, but he's not giving up.
She's got his leg here.
Yep. Look at this. Nice counter on his part there, huh?
He's a pinner, it looks like. He was in trouble there, I thought.
He was in trouble.
Boy, look at, he's got that chin. He's pretty tight in there.
Gets a little too high.
Yeah.
Lace his legs.
Yeah, he is too high. Imagine his dad will have him down in the basement tonight.
This is looking tighter this time.
Yeah, he gets a little too high, you're right.
He just overpowered her there to pin.
You know, he did. And he was going for the pin the whole time. I'm not sure.
Yes, he
You know,
was.
it's not the best thing, but I'm going to tell you, you can always back people off, but it's hard to get them more aggressive. And he was really aggressive. He went out there to get that pin, so I'm pretty
Sure
proud
did.
of him. He's Cale Benitz picks up a pin for the Raiders. So the team score now, we've jumped out 34-0.
Right. We're going to give up a couple matches here, though, because we're going to forfeit at 113 and 120.
And we just don't have anybody there. We
Right.
just don't. Eventually, as you're going down the list here, we're hoping that we're going to get Matrix down at 120.
Well, that'd be good for him, too. So at 126, Matrix Jisco will be our next wrestler from Rapids, and he'll be wrestling Nick Budfesky, who's a 9th grader.
You're doing good on those names there, Pete.
You just sound like you make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, that's all. Nobody's going to know.
No, I'm with you. It's like if we were doing this on radio. And I used to kid Terry Stake about that. He could say whatever he wanted to. Nobody would know. But Matrix Jisco really is, actually, he's my step-grandson.
Yes?
And he's real physical. He beat a pretty tough kid last week. It was a tough match for him.
Right.
But what he has to do is stay on offense. He has a little problem, people shoot his legs. And that eliminates that when you can wade in there and power through that. So he's, he was kind of victimized last year. He lost some matches late in the matches. Remember that?
Yes.
We just didn't quite finish matches.
Right.
Nice tilt there.
I think that tilt was which won him the match
It
last
did.
week.
I think he won 4-3 or
Something
something.
like that. It was 1 point. But
Yep.
I know he got those points on that tilt. Because
Yep,
he got
that's
taken
it.
down.
Yes, he
He
did.
got behind.
Yep. Holy cow, that's tight.
Yep.
He is really strong. He's really powerful. And so it's one of our other seniors. Matrix Jisco picks up another fall for the Raiders, and that score now is moved to 40-12 if you're kind of keeping track back home.
Okay, our next match, 132. Rapids has Zach Mitchell, a sophomore. And Wausau East will counter with Sam Myers, who's also a sophomore.
Well, and you remember last week, it wasn't real, Zach Mitchell went out and he was wrestling pretty darn good. He got a couple cradles on there. They were not great cradles, but he was really going. And by golly, by the end of the match, he got cradled and pinned. And he was winning at the time.
He got off to a fast start.
Yeah, he sure did.
So, nothing wrong with a fast start, though.
It all totals up at the end, I guess, huh?
Yep. couple sophomores just feeling each other out here a little bit.
Also on Saturday, our JV team goes to, and the middle school goes to a JV invite over at Marshfield.
Yeah.
And then week from tonight, we're up at Wausau West. And then before Christmas yet, we go to the Ed Steck. It's a 2-day tournament down at West Allis.
West Allis?
Nice tournament. Starts at 5 p.m. on Friday night. And,
A lot of fond memories of West Allis.
boy, isn't that the truth? I missed that. That was one of my favorite places. Peter, we never lost there.
We never lost there.
We were in a lot of state
We were there a lot
tournaments.
of times, too.
Yeah. Yep. The atmosphere was great.
Yeah,
It wasn't
that's-
like the field house, and I don't live in the past, but it was so. And we had so many people. One year, we had 100 rooms in that hotel down there.
Yeah.
Look at this.
on,
Zach
Mac.
Mitchell's doing pretty good. Don't let him out. Don't let him out, Zach.
Switch. Yeah, I'll drive.
I think we're going to be okay here. Go forward, Zach.
I gave up on it.
You're right. There's two inexperienced kids, and
Yeah.
counter this now. Oh,
Well, we got lucky there.
we dodged the bullet.
We're not in good position.
I think the Wausau East boy was kind of say he got bit.
That's what
maybe.
it looked like. Yeah.
And the one thing about bite marks, and we've been through that a little bit, you have to have two sets. If it's just one set, that means you got cross-faced. And,
Okay.
But if it's a bite, you got two sets.
Upper
so-
and lower.
Yeah.
Well, got to his feet nice.
Yeah, stay in. With younger, inexperienced wrestlers, when you get a couple old veteran coaches like us, what you really notice is they don't finish moves.
All right.
They come pretty close, like right there, almost so close to being out with a little switch action there, again, it's easier for us up here than probably is for him down there.
Well, let's see if he can do it again. He gets to his feet nice.
He sure does. Yep. Stay with that hand.
Got to bend his knees a little bit more when he gets to his feet. He'd be out of there, I think. Oh, there's maybe a switch.
Little switch.
There we
Come
go.
on, keep going
Close.
though.
Look away.
Uh-oh.
Again, inexperience.
Inexperience and raise your arm up in the air, and the other guy's gonna throw a half. But just because you're on your back, that doesn't mean the match is over. No.
No, that's right.
And it takes a lot of grit sometimes, but you got to get that arm through and fight your way. And I thought he was doing pretty well there, but we end up on the short end of it. So we got Patrick.
138, we got Patrick Spray. Patrick Spray from Rapids, he's a senior, and Wausau East has Ryan Daniel, a 9th grader. So they have a lot of 9th graders in their lineup.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I remember at the middle school tournament they had some nice middle school kids, junior high kids. Patrick Spray is one of our guns again.
Yes.
He's just really quick. He's got that inside leg single, and he's really, really quick. He's not that big, I think he's wrestling at 32 over at the Battle of the Bay. So most of these
Okay.
kids probably weighed
Dropped
in a
off.
little light here
Yeah.
tonight. But he's made a verbal commitment to wrestle Division I next year up in North Dakota State. And he likes it out there, so it'd be nice if we could keep a few more of these guys of ours in state. Because we do have some guys wrestling in college, but the only one that's wrestling for the Badgers is Ryland Lubeck.
Right.
Oh, wow. Nice fireman.
He's doing it to the opposite side tonight. Everything's to the
yeah.
opposite side.
It's nice fireman's.
Nice, yeah.
And you know what? His whole career coming up here, he's never been a pinner. But I thought last year I saw that evolve a little, and he was starting to pin people. And even there, you know, obviously he was head and shoulders above his opponent, but he was hunting the pin there too.
Yes. And you got to be able to turn people to win big matches.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, next match at 45, we have Max Benitz. He's a junior, and Wausau East has Noah.
Can't read your
Noah.
own printing, can you?
Noah,
Okay. Well, Noah is a what?
9th grader.
He's a 9th grader too.
Oh, it was Hess. Noah Hess.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look
And
at my scratchings here.
Maxwell had a nice pin last week too.
Yes, he did.
He's getting kind of healthy too. He's had shingles. He's had some other stuff, and hopefully, we're going to get him healthy and at the weight he needs to be. Is this the last match?
One more. Cody Sawyer.
Oh yeah.
It's gone by
This
pretty
could
quick.
be a record time here getting done. It's like
Yeah.
the old days. Our fans used to bet on how long the match would last.
Right. So last week we got home pretty early. Did you get to see the end of that Packer game?
Really? Yeah. And that was the only part that really counted.
Right.
My goodness, I can't believe it. I was so boy.
Oh,
Maxwell gets people on their back. He tightens them up pretty hard, you know.
Strong.
So old Grandpa here, he's pretty proud again.
Yes.
3 Benitzes, 3
Three
first period
pins.
pins. Yeah.
maybe one new school record with one, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is.
Within a second, I know that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, the last match of the night at 152, Rapids has Cody Sawyer, a sophomore, and Wausau East has Cordell Miles, who is also a sophomore. So this could be a good.
I think this. I remember this kid. I think this could be a good match. The boy that I always get this from Scott later on. The boy that he beat from DC Evers last week
Right,
had beaten him like 7-2 last year,
really.
and
That was a good match, but
yeah, it was.
pretty much dominated that match, I
Wow,
thought.
that was a nice shot.
Yep.
And the Wausau East boy countered it pretty well. Get in that Russian action here a little bit. Get some head position here, Cody.
That's good. He switched over that front head now.
He's got a little too deep.
Yeah.
His front headlock's got to be pretty
he's got
shallow.
long arms, though.
He's got it, yeah. Oh,
He's
right
locked
into
up
a
the
cradle. Oh, he's pretty tight in here. Turn him in, Cody. Turn him in, bud. He did that pretty well.
You did
Pretty
that real
nice,
well.
Yeah.
This is going to be a pin.
Yeah, it is. Wow. So a foul for Cody Sawyer, and then a minute 5 seconds left in that first period. And that score, kind of, I guess our final score is 58-18. It really jumped out here. So there weren't a lot of matches. There were some forfeits. But I think our Raiders are pretty good. I think we got to kind of not be apologizing for them anymore. We'll see on Saturday when we go over and get in some real competition. But
Yeah, I would agree. I've been pretty impressed with the early season look of the Raiders. They've been very solid in
yeah,
almost every aspect, and I'm looking forward to a good season. Hopefully it can just get better.
yeah, and I know Scott. You know, he plans everything to the nth degree. But we will have, by the time we go to the Ed Stick, we'll have a 195-pounder back in there. Jared Mata, who's pretty tough. He's got to set out a cold situation. If we can get Berg Diebel, I'm taking him tomorrow again. We went down there yesterday to La Crosse, and he didn't pass the hydration test.
Right.
And hopefully tomorrow we can get that done. And then he's going to get plugged in there at 132. eventually.
Okay, well,
And Max will be down to 138. We get Matrix at 20. It'll take away one of those forfeits. So I think it's going to take a while, and I think fans have to be a little patient. But I think in the end we're going to be okay. So should we go through this here a little bit, or we'll have Scott probably go through it? But it was a nice meet for the Raiders. I feel pretty good about it.
I do too.
I want to thank Travis here from RCCA and Jason Arnold, who is running our camera, and you're going to be over on the Battle of the Bay, and we're going to get better. And Tesh will be over there, and he's the pro. We're
Right.
kind of amateurish.
We are.
But appreciate your helping, and
We
we had a lot of pins, and we didn't win any decisions, did we?
No, everything was a pin.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty good.
We should just remind people again that Wausau West, the start time for all the Valley meets is 7 o'clock. It's a half hour earlier than usual, and heck, if you get there half hour late, you could miss a lot.
Thank you, and that's a good point. I know some people, the Thompsons came in, couldn't believe it was starting at 7 o'clock. But
Sure, I was wondering where they were too.
they assumed it was 7:30 start time. So
Well, here's
anyway,
Scott.
all right. Well, Peter, thanks a lot helping, and we're going to get Scott Benitz in here and just kind of recap this thing a little bit. Raiders 158-18 on our second outing in the Valley, and it was I guess exciting if you were a Rapids backer, but Wausau East came to wrestle. They're a little overpowered. A lot of ninth graders there.
Yeah, they're a pretty inexperienced group, and I appreciate that the coach chose to wrestle some kids as opposed he could have put them on a JV team, and I would have understood that too. But home crowd, some of our seniors at least got to wrestle a match, so
Yeah.
that was all right. So I appreciate that from him. Not everybody would do that with a team that's that young.
Well, let's just go back through that the matches a little bit. You started at 160.
Yeah, Dylan, I don't know, we keep trying to get him to slow the pace down, and his technique looks good in the room, and I think maybe we just got to get in really good shape and just go as hard as we can, as long as we can.
I
'cause
got to
think
disagree
that's
with you
better.
there a little bit. I thought he tried to wrestle a pretty technical match. He did some different things tonight.
He did, but we got to be able to set up a takedown and all, and those are the things we didn't do. We had a nice switch, and we worked on a couple things on top, but he's going to have to get in shape, though, because he's got to get in scrambles. He's going to win them. The more that he gets in those, the more likely he's going to end up on top.
And at where are we at there?
170, Brock. Wrestle a kid that probably is definitely a JV caliber kid, and you never know quite what to tell the guys. Is it better to pin them fast, or is it better to take them down a bunch, or is it better to let them wrestle for? I don't know what you do. It's a tough call. And kids get out there, and in the heat of the moment, they do what they do. And he pinned a kid in a short time, and didn't hurt and didn't embarrass him. It just it wasn't, it happened pretty quick. So
I think he might have set the all-time fast fall record.
yeah, I think he did, and I think the kid was pinned for more than 2 seconds too. Is pretty fast. So that's a good thing, I guess. But we need some match time too, where you have not a lot of time on the mat. So, but it was better than just getting your hand raised on a forfeit. So again, I appreciate what the coach did, and then we did get Nate Fuller a good match, which I think will be the difference for him on Saturday, maybe winning a tough match that he had a hard 6-minute go. Mm-hmm. I don't think he wrestled bad. I don't think he wrestled great, but I do know that he got tired, and I think he was really tired. He said he got tired real early. He said, I thought I was in real good shape. I guess I'm not. So I guess if we had a few of those, like that, then guys are going to work a little harder in the room. And I need to realize that sometime that, being in shape in the room and being in the shape in competition are different. So I think that really helped him to go that hard. And I think that'll pay dividends on Saturday for him. And then Jake Tim, I didn't see much of his match. I was actually talking to some of the younger kids back there, getting them ready to go. And that kid was way overmatched as well. And
Well, and Jake needed that for his own
Oh.
confidence a little bit.
Well, no
and,
doubt. Yeah. You know, he got beat last week, and they got a win here, and he's probably going to be wrestling pretty heavy here a couple weeks, and it's not ideal. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of guys that weigh between 175 pounds and 140 pounds, and we have to try to get them to
Sure.
different weight classes, and you know, Jake's one of those guys that's going to be bounced around quite a bit.
Well, you got to take what you kind of get. You know, God doesn't make people all different sizes,
No.
and we happen to have a team that the bulk of our team is in a few of the weights, but
Yeah.
that's how it is. And
Yep.
you got to move people around. I was pretty impressed with our aggressiveness. Whether it was,
Right.
you know, you can't dictate who comes on the mat
No.
against you.
No, our
You got-
kids wrestle hard. You know,
Yeah.
in the room we wrestle pretty hard. It's gonna be nice to get out and get some match time in on Saturday.
Yeah.
Jack Burwink really wanted to wrestle tonight. He was really disappointed, which sometimes you would get kids that would be afraid of that competition. First time, you know, a new wrestler in front of the home crowd, and he really wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So I was really encouraged to see that he was disappointed not to get to wrestle. So that's a good sign for us. And
Well,
you
it's
know,
good to see Verwings. You know, I
Yeah.
talked to Eric and
Yeah. Yeah.
Eddie over there, you know, and
Yeah.
I said, well, we've had a lot of Verwinks over the years, and we still got one now.
Yeah.
So that's nice. You get those good families. We've
Yeah.
lived on families over the years, you
Mhm.
know, the Thompsons, and
Yeah.
so that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think he's going to really be an asset, you know. Just,
Yeah, yep. And at heavyweight, we still just have a hole. We get, you know, a guy back here coming up that we can kind of move around up top a little bit.
Yep.
That'll help us. We might have a guy coming in that's losing, you know, he's a little over 285 yet. If we can get him down, at least we'd have got 6 points tonight. You know, so in some cases, just having the right guys going to make a difference for us. So.
It's been a long time since we've had to cut at heavyweight.
Yeah, you know, and it's cut's not going real fast right now, so not fast enough. So
We talked about that tonight.
yeah, so
It's just a matter of, and it'll be healthy for him to lose a little weight too.
no doubt. So, and 106, you know, Kale, I think we're going to wrestle more than girls probably by Saturday, will. But, you know, I'm not afraid to get out there and get after it with, you know, some girls. That's kind of a scary thing for kids sometimes. But, you know, he's wrestling well. We need to get as many wins as we can when we can get them.
I think she was a wrestler too. She countered him really well.
Yeah.
And he looks for pins a little when he probably out of position. He scared me a little bit going after that, but boy, he's an aggressive little sucker.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, his practice partners aren't real big right now, and so we probably can get by with some things when you're wrestling guys your size or smaller.
Yeah.
That when we get guys bigger than us, that we might. You said you got scared in that spot Saturday. We probably end up on the wrong side of that one with a guy being a little bit big. So.
All we know at this point, he's 2-0.
Yep, and then, you know, we're forfeiting the next two yet. Matrix will be down at 120 this weekend.
He'll be down there Saturday.
He'll be
What
down
about
Saturday? We won't have a 26 yet Saturday. So by next Thursday we'll have a 26, and Matrix will be back at 20. So we'll have that plugged up, and we'd be able to cover heavyweight and 220 by next week as well. So we should be down to one forfeit by next week if things go well. So
Yeah, I talked about that in the meet. I just said that we got to be a little patient now as fans and understand that things will get better. That's the plan.
Yeah, and Matrix wrestled good. You know, kid was way overmatched, and it's really hard wrestling guys that aren't good wrestlers. Time it makes you look not so good, especially somebody that's a counter type wrestler when you have to create your own offense. But it's okay because we get to practice it a little bit then. So, and again, he's been coming down weight, so we'll be a little bit more size-wise. Be a good size 20-pounder by the time Saturday rolls around. So. 132. Really want Zach Mitchell to get a win, and he's had chances here the last 2 weeks, and just not working for him right now. He wrestles better in the room. He's a real smart kid, and we're just having a little trouble right now with his confidence in himself and just doing stuff hard. He wants to. He gets in a fight and he backs down from a fight out there. He jumps backwards and doesn't want to fight. And you win a wrestling match, you better be ready to fight. I mean, it's really what the sport's all about. And
Yeah,
that's
that one, he could have fought that one a little better, I thought.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, you gave up a takedown on a crossface. I said it hurt, and that guy won that battle. And then on that half Nelson, I said,
Yeah.
you gotta get that outside leg up, and you gotta fight in there. And I said I said it probably hurts more, mentally walking off the mat after getting pinned than it would ever hurt physically by fighting a half Nelson. And you got to get to that point where you need to. This has to hurt too much that you're willing to fight a little bit harder.
I thought that was going to be a pretty even match the way it started.
I thought we had a shot to win that one again. We were winning last week 7-2, and we just, he's just really struggling with the competition and the mental part of it right now.
Yeah.
And then Pat, I didn't get to see a lot of his match neither. I was back talking to Zach, trying to talk him through some of these things, and Pat's Pat. And
Pat's Pat. He's really quick. He did a lot of pretty nice things. A couple of firemen's there, one off to each side. Yeah.
So I mean, he's very good, and again, he got to showcase that a little bit, and then Max. You got a guy who they weren't going to wrestle. He was a JV wrestler, but they moved him up. So, a couple of our guys were getting JV guys, and Max got one of those. But again, sometimes then you get to do some things that you wouldn't normally do. We got to shoot a takedown in there, and he has to learn to shoot those takedowns. And for some of us, it was just a good practice goal tonight.
Well, tonight was a good night.
And we missed Cody. We got Cody yet.
Oh, so. I'm sorry, Cody.
Cody did a pretty nice job. Got that.
He did.
Tighten that pin up, and it was. I thought he did a nice job. Again, he's not a flashy guy. He kind of gets lost in the mix there sometimes, but he's actually, at this point, maybe one of our most improved kids. He's just from watching him in the room, has really, really improved a bunch, and we're excited to see what he's going to do.
Well, now we're done. Okay.
For tonight,
and, that was it was a nice home opener. It was a Valley meet, and we're undefeated in the Valley. And there were some big meets around tonight too. I think Wausau West and Point wrestled, and the Valley wins a win. That's what it all amounts to at the end. So it was it was Parents' Night. We had a lot of folks here, and I thought it was great. So just run through a little bit on Saturday what we got to look forward to.
Well, Battle on the Bay, I would probably say is probably pretty much one of the top one or two toughest single-day tournaments in Wisconsin, with all Wisconsin teams in it, and it's 25 teams. As tough as it was the last couple of years, they added Oak Creek, who's not a powerhouse, but they're probably every couple of years in the state team tournament. And then they added Sparta, who is a D1 team this year, and they've got an undefeated defending state champion. They had a kid who took third last year that were both freshmen. They got another young freshman. I don't know their whole team, but they bring in some horses. And then you throw in the Amerys and the Luxembourg Cascos and Freedom's defending state champion, and you throw Pewaukee in. We wrestled the first round of the state tournament, and it is. At times, I wonder if it's too long of a grind for the first part of the year, because we have to get up early. We leave at 5:30 a.m. and we're going to wrestle 5 matches. The last round's kind of drag, but we're excited because we have to get on the mat. I know we're going to have to shake some rust out rounds 1, 2, and 3, because by the time we get to round 4 and 5, we're either going to have it shook out, or we're going to lose some matches that we probably don't need to lose. But we need to get on the mat. We need to get pushed a little bit, because these last 2 meets, other than probably 2 or 3 guys last week had good matches, and probably 1 or 2 good matches tonight. Most of our guys need some mat time, so Saturday's the day.
It's time, and some of these guys are going to get their bubble burst. They don't really know yet what competition is all about, and that's where coaching comes in. You gotta stay with them, and so look forward to it. We're the next Valley meet is, I think, Wausau West. And that's a week from tonight, and then you're headed down to Ed Steck. So finally, after a slow start, we're going to get in a lot of competition. We'll get 5 matches this Saturday. We'll get 6 matches next week, and then we come back to Eau Claire all right before the new year. So we've got 16, 17 matches coming up. Well, Scott Benitz, thank you. Thank you, Travis and Jason, for running the camera, and RCCA, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.